Good evening. My name is Pam Schultz, and I'm a member of the League of Women Voters Jackson area. I welcome you to this online forum co-sponsored by the Jackson area and Washtenaw County chapters of the League of Women Voters, featuring Republican candidates for Michigan House District 47. The candidates will be on the ballot in the primary election on Tuesday, August 2nd. The League of Women Voters works to expand voter rights and educate voters. We are a nonpartisan organization and are providing this forum as an opportunity for candidates to express their views related to their candidacy. Statements expressed by the candidates are neither endorsed nor opposed by the League. Also, the League does not certify any candidate response to questions as accurate. Voters are encouraged to fact-check information shared at the forum. We bring you tonight's forum because we believe deeply that respectful sharing of views on community issues is vital to the functioning of American democracy. Our moderator this evening is Jeff Smurek, who will explain the format and get us started.
Thank you, Pam. And now it's my honor to introduce the Republican primary candidates running for the Michigan House of Representatives, District 47, Tina Bernarski Lynch and Teresa Spiegelberg. And there has been a last-minute change. Tina Bernarski Lynch candidate was invited and scheduled to participate this evening, but found she was unable to attend due to a family scheduling issue. Thank you, Ms. Spiegelberg, very much for participating in this forum this evening. The forum this evening will follow this format. You as the candidate will have an opening statement of up to 1 minute. You as the candidate will have a closing statement of up to 90 seconds. In between, I will ask questions which came from the community. Each question will be read once and not repeated unless you request me to do so. As the candidate, Teresa, you will have 2 minutes, 2 minutes, please, to respond to each question. At appropriate times, the timer, D, will raise a sign on her screen indicating the time remaining, 30 seconds, and then stop. If you have used up your time, you will be allowed to finish your sentence, and then your microphone will be muted according to our normal process. So we're now ready for your opening statement, Ms. Spiegelberg.
Hi, I'm Teresa Spiegelberg. I thank you for having me. I grew up in Sharon Township on the borderline of Manchester and Grass Lake, and I now live in Freedom Township. I've worked for over 30 years in the healthcare industry at the University of Michigan. And I'm running to see if we can get Michigan sort of back on track. It's been a great state. However, we've seen some difficulties in different things over the last several years. I just would like to be part of getting us back to where we can be. Thank you.
And now we're ready for the questions. I'll read the question once and it will not be repeated unless requested. Ms. Spiegelberg, as a result of the 2022 redistricting, it's possible that there may be a shift in the composition of the Michigan legislature. On what 2 significant issues do you think the legislature could reach a new consensus?
Well, one is, frankly, if they will work across the line, whether we have more Republicans or more Democrats, we need to work together as a group of people and not a party one way or the other. And I still see that we could have a big difference between having the House be sort of divided along party lines. So that's still a big thing, regardless of the new redistricting. I also see that we just need to be able to sort of overlook some of the things that everyone is looking at. You go to different areas and you say, well, you're not going to win here unless you're a Democrat. You're not going to win here unless you're a Republican. I think we shouldn't look that way. I think we should look at the individual person and what they have to offer to people.
Thank you, Ms. Spiegelberg. Next question. Do you think Michigan currently conducts free and fair elections? If not, what steps are needed to ensure free and fair elections in Michigan?
I think overall, we actually do a pretty good job of doing it. I certainly agree with us asking people to identify themselves and prove that they're a registered voter. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I'd like to see us allow people to have a better opportunity to not necessarily just be sent ballots and stuff like that, but make it easier for them to request and those things, because we all know it can be difficult to get from one place to another. And with gas the way it is right now, it's going to make it even worse for people to get there. Also makes it tougher when you go to a voting area and you have lines that are literally out the door and people are waiting hours to do this. One thing I could see, and I know we don't do this, some employers are willing to give their people time to go off and vote, others are not. It would be kind of nice if on election day, we did allow employees to get off and go vote either early, come in late, leave during the middle of the day for a bit, something like that. To make sure everyone gets an opportunity to go and do what they need to do.
Thank you, Ms. Spiegelberg. And now for the next question. Please explain your stand on gun safety laws in the state of Michigan. What achievable steps would you take to address community concerns related to Michigan gun safety and gun violence?
So we happen to offer gun safety to kids, but not nowhere near in depth of what it should be. There's other places, and I'm not just talking the US, I'm talking other countries that, do a much better job of teaching people how to use weapons and to instill in them the respect that people need to have guns. People want to say guns are the problem. It's how we treat them is the problem. We need to respect those as weapons and not toys. And I think that I think teaching every person that and how to handle them safely is a much better response than just telling people they can't have them unless you can figure out a way to take them away from every single person.
Thank you, Ms. Spiegelberg. And now for the next question, it's about agriculture. Agriculture plays a large role in the economy of District 47. How can the legislature support the agriculture industry to the benefit of Michigan citizens?
I'd actually like to see us encourage more people to get involved in farming and to find ways of, instead of taking this land and building subdivisions, to make it so that people can go ahead and farm this. Whether they can afford to buy it is another question, but I think we should see if we can't find ways, grants or whatever, so that this land can be available to farmers who are out there. We have a lot of good people out here who are farming. Not everyone can afford to buy that land when it gets offered up for sale, mainly because, if you have a developer or you have a gravel pit coming in or solar farms, sometimes they have way more money than the farmer does. But I think it's worth it for people of Michigan, for the state, to ensure that we have good farmland that's actually being used as farmland and not having 50 houses built on it.
Thank you, ma'am. And if you're ready for the next question, please identify the top 3 concerns that residents in District 47 have expressed to you. Please describe the steps you would take to address one of these issues if you're elected.
So I have actually been going to some of the town hall meetings in the district, and there's been a big theme for one thing across the whole district, whether it's Jackson County or Washtenaw County, and that is roads. We need to find a better way of fixing the roads. You know, we have a gas tax, and that money gets divided up and it goes to the county. It doesn't go to the townships, but the township is then expected to all the secondary roads, they're responsible for them to be maintained or fixed. So I really think we need to find a better way, because otherwise the option is to add more tax to people. And people just cannot keep giving more money, even though they want to have those roads fixed. So that's one big thing. Had a gentleman ask about, you know, school safety for the kids. What can we do to ensure that what happened in Texas does not happen here? Obviously, we can't, because we had Oxford. There's got to be a better way. We got to have better security. We got to make it so these kids can go to school and feel as safe as they are at home. So those are two of the big issues that I've seen. You know, other issues are, as more and more development comes, people are having a hard time with flooding because proper drainage and stuff is not opened up. So I think we need to, you know, maybe slow down on the development until we take care of all the other stuff.
Thank you, Ms. Spiegelberg. And now for the final question. In 2020, coal and natural gas provided 59% of all the electricity generated in Michigan. Should Michigan increase the percentage of electricity generated by renewable sources? If so, how can an increase in renewables be achieved, and how do we address environmental and aesthetic objections to wind turbines and solar panels?
I think it would be nice to go green, as they say. However, I don't think we're anywhere near ready to do that. There are ways of having cleaner coal that we should consider, at least for the moment, until we get better at solar and better at wind. You know, wind turbines, as great as everyone wants to think they are, they're still an environmental hazard. Look at the eagles that they've killed, besides other birds. We need to assure that we're not taking out nature as we're trying to do for us. Same with solar. You have these big fields there. You just took land again away from the farmers that have all these solar panels on. Michigan's not even the greatest state for solar panels. You know, so I think we, as much as we want to go forward, I think we need to be a little bit conservative how fast we do this. We want to make sure that when we get electricity, the stuff that we use is going to really work, and people are not going to have brownouts or total blackouts. You know, we don't want anyone to be cold in the winter or overheated in the summer. Both those things are bad for people's health and can cause death. So I think we need to, actually look before we just leap at things.
Thank you, Ms. Spiegelberg. Now we're ready for your closing statement, if it's ready for you.
Okay, thank you. You know, I'm not going to tell people I have all the answers. I'm not a politician, but I've lived in this area for my whole life, and I know some of the things that we need. I'm not going to tell people I know it all. However, there's wonderful people in the area that you can talk to. We have resources everywhere. So my big thing is, if anyone wants to give me a chance and will vote for me, I will work hardest I can to make our district good.
Thank you very much, Ms. Spiegelberg, for participating in this valuable session. Sue Smerick from the League of Women Voters, Washtenaw County, will now provide closing comments. Sue?
The Jackson area and Washtenaw County Leagues wish to thank the candidate for participating in tonight's forum, and also thanks those who contributed questions. All our candidate forums are available for streaming from the respective websites, LWV Washtenaw or lwvjackson.org. Forums can also be viewed on Ann Arbor's cable television news. Please urge others to watch these forums and share the links with them. For additional nonpartisan information on candidates and ballot issues, go to vote411.org, the League's voter resource guide covering local, state, and federal candidates, as well as current proposals that will appear on your ballot. As a reminder, all voters are now eligible to cast an absentee ballot, and Michigan now provides for Election Day registration. Whether by absentee ballot or in person, please vote in the August 2nd primary election. Thank you and have a good evening.